In this video, we are going to be solving a fraction word problem. Dan's income is $2,000 a month, and he plans to budget 1/3 of his income for rent and 1/9 of his income for gas. Step 1, what fraction of his income does he plan to spend each month on these two items together? Express your answer in lowest terms. It doesn't tell us what exact operation we're going to be doing between these two fractions. And so we need to look at some of the keywords in the problem. In step 1, it's asking for the total of the two items together. And so that should clue you in to the operation that we want to do would be addition. So we're going to be adding the two fractions, 1/3 plus 1/9. Now, unfortunately, we can't just do straight addition here. We do need a common denominator, and I showed you how to do this in a previous video, and so I'm going to do that same method in this video for this example. And so you're going to start by doing multiplication across the diagonal for each of the numbers. So I'm going to do 1 times 9 first, and that gives me 9. And then I'm going to do 1 times 3, and that gives me 3. And then I'm going to multiply the two denominators, the two bottoms, 3 and 9. That's going to give me 27. And then my next step is to just rewrite the problem with everything that I just found. So it's going to equal 9 plus 3. Those are going to be my two numbers that I'm going to be adding on top. And then the denominator is going to stay 27. This isn't my final answer. I need to actually do the addition. And so 9 plus 3 is going to give me 12 over 27. It did ask to express your answer in the lowest terms. So we need to simplify this fraction if possible. And it is possible to simplify this fraction. We're looking for the common factor between 12 and 27. What this means is we're looking for the common number between those two numbers. And in reality, we want to find the greatest common factor. So that way we don't have to continue simplifying. Our final answer will be simplified. And so if we look at 12 and 27, the number that they actually share and have in common, the greatest common factor is going to be 3. So we're going to divide the top by 3 and the bottom by 3, and that gives us our simplified fraction of 4 over 9. Step 2 of the problem is what amount of money does he intend to spend each month on these two items together. So we're actually wanting the dollar amount here. Round your answer to the nearest dollar. And so what it means, we're going to be taking the number, the fraction that we just found in step 1, the 4 over 9ths. We're trying to find what number, what amount of money out of 2,000 is going to equal 4/9. And so I'm going to set it up like this. It's going to look like a proportion. And so I'm putting a variable x, that's the number we're trying to find, what amount of money out of 2,000 equals that total between the two expenses of 4/9. And to solve this, it's actually going to be very similar to when we're adding and subtracting fractions with unlike denominators. We are going to do cross multiplication, but this time we have an equal sign, so we want to keep that in mind. So we're going to do our cross multiplication. So we're going to do x times 9, which would be 9x, and then we're going to do 2,000 times 4, which is 8,000. And then we're going to rewrite this, and we're putting an equal sign in between. So we have 9x equals 8,000. Now this becomes a one-step equation that we're wanting to solve. And what you need to realize is the operation that's happening between 9x is multiplication. We just did that. And so the opposite of multiplication, to get rid of the 9, because we're wanting to solve for x for the amount, the opposite operation of multiplication is division. And so we're actually going to divide both sides by 9, because what you do to one side of an equation, you must do to the other side to keep everything balanced. And so our final answer is going to equal 888.8 repeating, but it does say to round your answer to the nearest dollar. That means no change and no decimal. And so, or no number after the decimal. And so to round that, we do have an 8 after that decimal. And so that 8, because it's bigger than 5, it's going to bump up that 8 before the decimal up to a 9. So our amount would be $889 that Dan plans to budget or spend on rent and for gas each month.